So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Boris Johnson getting about £27,000 worth of organic takeaways um, into number 10 via code names, and these are things he didn't declare because these are donations. If it's over £500 or £5,000, he has to declare it. Boris Johnson hasn't actually declared it yet. He hasn't declared his flat payments either. So this tells you how kind of how much of a joke this guy is and the systems we have in place. So Boris Johnson faced fresh questions last night as the full story of his secret operation to supply him with £27,000 worth of luxury food was disclosed. This is a man who didn't want to give free school meals to hungry children, doesn't want to help the poorest in society, but yet my man can't live on anything less than 300,000 because of his lifestyle choices. The Daily Mail, like, you're getting attacked by the Daily Mail, bruv. Like this is a right-wing rag paper and they're going for you. The Daily Mail can reveal the extraordinary cloak and dagger operation to send him and his fiancée Carrie Simmons freshly prepared meals and hampers at number 10 without voters finding out. Like, this is the wife of a Tory donor, but arguably this is a Tory donor who is doing this. Code names were used for the Prime Minister and the wife of a rich Tony donor who organised daily deliveries to the number 10 back door. But at this point, she isn't the wife of a Tory donor. She is a Tory donor. These are donations in kind. Just because it's not cash money, these are food deliveries. These are worth a lot of money, apparently. The food was smuggled in after being dropped off by a butler on one of Boris Johnson's rented Boris bikes, which is hilarious. That my man's using a rented bike. Like, why? According to documents seen by the newspaper, at least some of the items were paid for by the wife of the Tory donor. That would appear to be at odds with Mr. Johnson's earlier claim that he paid for all the food at number 10. And the thing is, as we've spoken about before, why is it that these people are giving Boris Johnson all this money? Rich people don't typically do this. There's normally a reason behind any kind of donation, especially to politicians, and that's to buy influence. Boris Johnson knows who this person is and knows who her husband is, and that's the person who's really trying to buy influence here. It will add pressure on Johnson, who's facing inquiries into his controversial holiday in Mustique and his Downing Street flat makeover. He's got donors paying for his holidays, paying for his flat refurbishment, paying for his food, paying for his kid's nanny, paying for his personal trainer. This is ridiculous. And all these people are buying influence on our Prime Minister. This is a country up for sale here, people. Questions have been raised over whether his personal trainer and the nanny for Wilfred, his son, and Miss Simmons have been funded by Tory donors. The food and drink were provided by the elite Dalesford organic farm shops owned by Lady Carol Bamford from last May to February. So this was over a long period of time, nearly a year. She is married to the owner of JCB construction giant. JCB and Boris Johnson have a really good connection or bond, should you say. The owner of JCB, Boris Johnson, was there a lot during the election. He also tried to get them some Tory contracts, when it came to pandemic stuff. So big shocker there. Lord Bamford's companies have given £10 million to the Conservatives, and this is it. This is him further buying influence by directly feeding the Prime Minister. That's what this is. This is a ploy for influence over the party, over the leader of this country, and this is just shambolic. This is stuff you'd see in developing nations. But, here we have it. In a so-called developed nation, we have brazen bribery, but, it's only the Mail that's really covering this, which is shocking. So the Prime Minister received £27,000 worth of organic food and drink, including wine plus delivery costs. Apparently these were meant to be rich in vitamins to help him, help his energy levels after his brush with death after contracting COVID. Don't see all of this stuff, all this kind of help for other people who have had to deal with COVID though, do you? Some items are marked as charged to LB's account, code for Lady Bamford, so she was directly paying for these meals. Mr. Johnson is referred to as Alex, after his first name Alexander, in confidential memos. So if this stuff was all above board, why using code names? The only people who use code names are usually doing deceitful activities. Mr. Johnson staff were told to use plain white paper bags for the meal deliveries, not ones with Deceitful logo for discretion. So it's very obvious what's happening here. If it was Boris Johnson buying this stuff out of his own pocket, okay, and he had all this stuff deliveries because he didn't want the taxpayer to realise he's spending so much money on food, that's one thing. But this is a Tory donor who's doing this, through deception. They are deceiving, they are bribing our Prime Minister with food. That's what this is. And, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of contract or what these people are looking for. Or what kind of reward they're giving Boris Johnson for anything he's done for them previously. The Mail reported in March how the deliveries, including breakfast, lunch and dinner, were smuggled into Downing Street. At the time, Mr. Johnson denied the Bamfords paid for his food deliveries. Also the fact that, someone could easily sneak something into his food. At least when Downing Street is way more secure Anything could happen to him eating this sort of stuff. A Downing Street spokesperson said the cost of the food for personal consumption are met by the Prime Minister. We know that's not the case, unless it's not him eating this stuff, it's his wife or his kid. But obviously, you're not going to be feeding this to Big Wilfred, are you? Come on now. I don't think his wife's eating all of this either. Johnson, like all MPs, must declare any donation or gift worth more than £500 in the Commons Registry of Interest within a month. He hasn't done that. He could argue these aren't gifts or whatever, but they are worth over £500. He should have said these are he's receiving these as a gift. He didn't do that for his flat. He hasn't done that for his holiday, and he hasn't done that for this either, because this man doesn't care, because there are no consequences. In an honour-based system, the ones without honour always win. None of these Tories have any honour. They won't quit when they're found to have broken the ministerial code. That's not what they're like. If gifts or services are supplied below cost price, the full market value must be declared. We know that there's a third off, he's getting a third off, or these foods are being delivered at cost, so that lowers the value, but it's meant to be delivered at cost. So whatever it would cost the public, by the looks of things. So that kind of argument doesn't work. There is no reference to Daylesford deliveries in his current entry. So we're going to see if he updates it. I doubt he is, because these sort of stories fizzle really fast. The leaked emails reveal that the meals were part of a wider fitness regime, including the Prime Minister's personal trainer, Harry Jameson, a wellness business consultant. Sounds a bit like Joshua Fabio, to be honest. But the thing is, right, if he wants the country to get fitter, we don't have access to this kind of stuff here. And the fact that, why is he buying Gloucester cheese if he's trying to lose weight? It doesn't make sense. Even this stuff here, beef, that's not going to help you. That's a really fatty piece of beef. Like, this is ridiculous. This is not going to help him. A second email from the chef directory to Bamford's PA gives instructions on how the food is to be collected at 11 a.m. each day from Daylesford Brompton Cross Shop in London, 2 miles from Downing Street. So they're going to a lot of effort to supply Boris Johnson with this food. Someone's going to travel for 2 miles just to deliver this. It shows you that someone is hell-bent on getting influence with Boris Johnson. And the question is, why is Bamford doing this? The sensitive task was given to Lady Bamford's personal butler, Paul Mitchell. To ensure maximum secrecy, Mr. Mitchell, 44, serves the Bamfords at their London home in Knightsbridge, a short walk from Brompton Cross. So these are incredibly rich people buying influence. This person has a butler, is in the House of Lords. I'm trying to think, do I see much else? There's not much else here. But the simple fact is, this is brazen corruption. £27,000 worth of takeaways over, in the space of less than a year. That's less than people make in a year. That's crazy. Like, he has spent more money on luxury takeaways just from this one place, right? In less than a year. Like, the question is, what does Lady Bamford and the JCB guy, what do they want from this? What kind of influence are they looking for in terms of contracts or whatever? Because rich people like this, they're not super generous. They might seem it, but a lot of them, donate to charities to avoid tax, for tax exemption reasons. They're not as generous as they seem. And, this lady here, Lady Bamford, I doubt she's that generous, because she could have done a lot with that £27,000. She could have done a lot with all that luxury food. She could have donated it, or she could have done a lot to help people, but she chose not to. And, credit the Daily Mail. I guess they are kind of stalkery, because they're constantly taking photos and stuff. That's how they would have got a picture like this. Gentleman here on I think that's a Boris bike. It must be. Handing off food, plain paper bags, as we can see. Can't really tell what's in it, but it could be food or clothing. We know it's food based on what the Daily Mail are reporting, but the question is, what do they hope to gain out of this? And that's something that it's going to take us a while to figure out. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.